A South Carolina woman is facing charges after authorities say she started a fire that sparked the 2,000-plus acre wildfire near Myrtle Beach, and she's facing one count of arson and negligently allowing a fire to spread. But now state lawmakers are pushing to increase the penalties for people who start these kinds of wildfires. Joining me now to talk about it is Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. And Khalif, we just saw there the wildfires not normally happen in South Carolina, but a lot of them this year so far, and they've been very costly. But South Carolina, they haven't really updated their law since what, 1962?
1962, that's a long time. And you can look back to 2009. That's the last time South Carolina had something big. That was a massive fire. You're talking about millions of dollars in damage, thousands of acres that were damaged. And during that time, they were saying the exact same thing. We need to figure out how we can prevent these. Look at that guy. What happened with him? He was charged. He was fined. You know how much the fine was? $749. So you're talking about someone that caused millions of dollars of damage. 79 plus homes were damaged during that fire, and you're talking about $700 for a fine. So you have a lot of lawmakers in South Carolina saying a couple of things. They're saying we have to find a way to punish folks, to deter them. But on the same side, they're saying something that doesn't really connect with that. They're saying 99% of people are unaware of the laws regarding fires and the penalties. Well, if folks are unaware, how does increasing or stiffening those type of charges make people deter? If you're not aware of them, it doesn't matter if I'm facing life in prison or a $20 fine. If I don't know what they are, it's not going to deter me. So I think the educational piece, and that's what one of the folks talked about, I think is probably more important than the punishment piece. Taking up the increase in punishment is great, but if no one knows about it, it doesn't matter what the punishment is.
Yeah, and one of them, the woman that we were just talking about, there was video of her doing burning in the backyard where there was a burn ban in fact, but didn't just seem to disregard that. But we've also seen some other states like California allow for people and groups to sue the utility companies for these destructive wildfires.
Well, I mean, and that's, remember, we are first of all, we're a very litigious society. So let's start there. But when we're also reactive and we're responsive. And so when you're looking for accountability, when you're in these situations where you have a natural disaster or you have a wildfire or you have something where you're looking for an answer and folks are figuring out, well, who do I sue? I've said this a number of times. You're trying to find a way to sue the folks that have the largest pocket. Most of the time, that's not going to be the municipality. It will be a company.
A utility company.
It'll be a utility company. And normally they've been shielded away from those types of things. Now they're not shielded away because folks are saying, we're not going to foot the bill. Insurance companies are very happy that that's something that's happening.
All right, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, thanks for breaking it down on a story that'll continue as well. Keep developing.